So I fucked my stomach up really bad at a very young age, and that's the topic of today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the ADickDid podcast, starring me, Jake M. Lazarus, whatever you want to call me. So, I uh, I wanted to start today's episode with a little bit of food slash stomach issues I have. Uh, I don't know. I feel like if I just maybe talk through it, maybe other people will relate to my issues, and maybe other people will maybe learn before I did, because clearly I have not learned soon enough if I'm making a podcast about it. I, from a young age, was addicted to Coca-Cola and Doritos. Two very delicious, popular items. Terrible for you. Don't, don't do what I did. Uh, I would drink I would drink 6 to 12 Cokes a day sometimes. Like, not every day, but like, I would definitely drink more than you should as a child or at any point in your life, really. To the point where I even remember having a corner, uh, as an adult, a corner of my counter space dedicated to just stacking cans. And don't do that. Don't be disgusting like me. That was gross. Have a green bag account with the fucking bottle drop, or like, I don't know. Just clean up after yourself and don't be a heathen. Drink water. Um, but I would get so stuck on like things that I liked so much as a kid that I wouldn't give them up for anything. Like, if I could find a way to get it, I would find a way to get it. And if that meant I was like doing chores for my grandma to get like $5 to go to the store to get it, or if I was like going around asking neighbors or whatever, like, I would find a way to get my soda. I sound like a drug addict, and it is. It is basically a drug addiction. But I was also like that with Doritos. I would sit and eat like an entire party-sized bag of Doritos in one sitting in like 45 minutes or less because I was playing Call of Duty Zombies or Halo Reach custom games or Halo 3 custom games or whatever. Like, I'm in a COD search and destroy match, so I'm gonna eat some Doritos. Like, I don't know why, but I got heavily stuck on eating chips, but specifically nacho cheese and spicy nacho Doritos. Those two, I don't know why. Stuck on them for life. I still have to get a bag every once in a while, and I shouldn't. I should be better about my health. um, but yeah, so that was probably the ages of 6, 7, 8, I want to say, to 23 is when I started noticing they were actually like problems, and I still have not fully handled these problems at 27. I still make a terrible decision to drink like 10 Red Bulls in a day and drink 2 cups of coffee before that. Like, I have terrible health, and I really hope that me getting this off my chest will, one, spark some motivation in me to not do these terrible things to myself, and maybe it'll help other people listen to my bad stories and they will, stop before it gets too bad. So, my first story is I was working at the Oregon Gardens. It's this big fancy garden resort thing we have where you just go around there. You get it. It's a big fucking garden. It's fancy. But they have this Christmas in the Gardens event, and I worked there 2 years in a row. But during the first year I worked there, or sorry, during the second year I worked there, I had a severe pain in my stomach so bad that I could not move. I was crippled over in like pain. Not necessarily crying, but I was like holding it together. I had my mom take me to the hospital, obviously. Uh, and they like put me in bed. They put me on morphine. I want to say it was morphine, and it was all right. It took away the pain for the most part. But after staying in a hospital for 3 days while they run tests, taking blood 3 times a day, coming in, doing blood pressure, doing all this stuff, you get terrible sleep. You think you're doing all right because you got the nice warm blankets and they're like giving you anything you basically ask for that isn't gonna kill you, and it's like it's not terrible, but it's also just enough to make you think it's a good experience. And it's not. The hospital sucks. You don't want to go to the hospital. And I'm basically just spending days staring at a ceiling and hoping that when I get out, the pain will go away. And they kind of like got the pain down before I left, and I wasn't in pain when I left anymore. But I still don't know exactly what happened. I think I had a gallbladder gallstone attack because I had one. We'll get to later in my 20s, but but I don't like know because the doctors didn't know. They couldn't figure it out. They tried to tell me all sorts of stuff like I had Crohn's disease. I had uh, what is it? Irritable bowel syndrome. They were just trying to give me all sorts of fucking explanations for why I was in this pain that did not make sense to what I was telling them, and they didn't really have explanations. So I get out of the hospital, and I go straight to Carl's Jr. to get a burger, and then I get that burger, and I get like a Red Bull on the way, and I go straight to work because that's just I guess who I am when I'm 18. I'm determined to make it through and work, and honestly I was fine. Like it went away for the most part. I still had like pain and issues with certain things in my stomach, but like it was never that bad again. And if I had maybe monitored to like a Coke or two on the weekends, or like maybe one a night, like maybe I wouldn't have like fucked my stomach up that bad, but this is just one of the variables. The other one was I have I had terrible migraines when I was a kid. Like going through school every Monday and Wednesday, I remember in middle school, I would always come home with the worst migraine of my life. Like seeing shit, head spinning, pain. And I didn't find out what it was causing that until I was in college. I had to have been 22 or 23, and I found out that I needed glasses. Like I already knew I had eye issues and I probably should have had glasses, but I didn't realize that not having the glasses was causing the migraines. And it's because I have one eye that sees really clearly from a long distance and one eye that sees really clearly from a short distance. So it causes me to have spinning migraines. And those spinning migraines caused me to take lots of like Motrin, Tylenol, ibuprofen, whatever, and that also fucked my stomach up. So word from the not so wise, I promise you, look into easier options to fix your problems that aren't gonna cause you long term worse issues. Like I say, oh fuck, that episode's not out yet. Never mind. In one of my later episodes, you're gonna hear me say something along the lines of you don't wanna focus on the short term, like in the moment things. You wanna wonder what's this decision gonna affect in the future. Don't play checkers, play chess. And I was playing checkers my whole life, okay? I was moving the little pieces one move at a time, going, oh, I think this forward move is good. But no, it's not. The Dorito bag, don't eat it. fucking Coke, don't drink it, don't snort it, don't anything with Coke. Get rid of it. It's bad. I never did Coke, but it's part of the joke. So, we're going to go to my next point in this episode, which is energy drinks and coffee. When I was in automotive after I went to college, I would get a piping hot cup of black coffee. And because I hated using sweeteners at the time, like sugars or creamer, I don't know why, I just wasn't a fan of it. I would pour an energy drink into my coffee to not only give me double power boost of energy, but to cool down slash sweeten my coffee. This is terrible for you. Please don't do this. It's delicious, and I honestly wish I could keep doing it because it tastes great. A ultra white monster in a black cup of coffee might be the best thing on planet Earth. And when it comes to energizing drinks, when you're trying to get work done, it's fucking phenomenal. But it will tear your insides out. So I'm going through all these stomach issues because I won't stop these addictions. That's the point of this podcast. Addictions. I'm addicted to things that I like. I need to not be. I don't know. I have sick obsessions. So I hope, like, hearing my stories of complete and utter chaos will maybe give you some motivation to do better things in your life, because clearly I'm making terrible decisions in mine. I could do one more story, I think, before the end of this episode. Do a short one for episode 1 and call it good. And part of me is using this platform to kind of comedically make fun of myself and hopefully give me some motivation to move forward in my life and make better decisions. But to get into that final story, we'll tell the story of the gallbladder incident. I'm working at a grocery store at the time, and I have been having kind of a pretty healthy time. I haven't been struggling too hard, and I am going into work on my birthday. As I'm pulling out of the driveway to go to breakfast before work, I had that same doubling over in pain, like severe pain, to the point where my vision was starting to blur, my head was fuzzy, I couldn't even think. I thought I was gonna like pass out. And we go to urgent care. They start doing their tests. Fortunately, this time I didn't end up in a hospital room for multiple days. I was only there for maybe 4 to 6 hours, which is still a long time to be at a doctor's office. But they did some tests, some visual stuff. They did an ultrasound on me, which at that point I learned the jelly stuff is an interesting experience if you ever get to experience it. But they do an ultrasound, and I find out that I do have a like gallstone issue. They're building up and not leaving at disintegrating like normal ones do or whatever. And they tell me I'm probably gonna have to have surgery for this. I am kind of weird about surgery, freaks me out a little bit. I don't know. So I'm nervous about that, and I go home and I'm thinking about it for a while, and they tell me I could wait a little bit before getting the surgery and see if I start having another pain or an attack like that again, and then if I do, then definitely just get the gallbladder removed and deal with the consequences of not being able to eat the same way that I do. Um, Fortunately, I have not had another attack like that, so I didn't get the surgery. I watched the video on it. It was like a 5-minute animated clip of how the procedure goes. They make like 3 dime-size incisions in you, but the fact they inflate you with like gases and whatever it made me fucking queasy, and I didn't like the idea of it. And I kind of opted out of that because I don't know about you, but I don't want to be inflated like a balloon. Uh, so maybe I made the right decision, maybe I didn't. Because I can still eat how I want, but maybe I get another attack like that in another 5 years or whatever. I'm hoping I don't. Um, but I think one of the more comedic parts of the story is my grandma and my mother both had to have their gallbladders removed at points in their life because they had issues with it. And I was determined that there was no way I was going to have gallbladder issues because I don't know, it's just some stupid guy mentality, stubborn headed, thick skull bullshit. But when the doctor told me it had to do with the gallbladder, I was like, God damn it! I would have rather it have been like something worse than that, than my grandmother being right or whatever. And the doctor did not appreciate what I said as the example. My mother found it little funny, but the doctor did not appreciate my example of I would have rather it been that than this because I don't want my grandma to be right. I have a sick sense of humor, and maybe I shouldn't always make jokes, but one thing I will always do is have comedy to make it through the tough times. Uh, I really appreciate you guys listening to this probably shorter than regular episode. A regular length will probably be around 20 to 25 minutes, maybe 30. Um, and they'll come out every Wednesday, probably 11, just like this one did. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would like to, I just say thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and if you decide to come back, I hope you'll leave a rating and maybe a comment so I can learn how to improve and make more of these for you. Thank you so much again, and have a wonderful night.